During his travels, Hagalix made a groundbreaking discovery in a remote human colony. There, amidst a fusion of human and alien architecture, he uncovered a hidden Krellian artifact, an enigmatic device inscribed with both Krellian and ancient human languages. This artifact, symbolizing a shared history and collaborative effort between the two species, suggested a bond forged in exploration and discovery. This revelation was revolutionary. It implied that the non-aggression pact was not merely a strategic decision, but the result of a deep-seated historical connection and mutual respect. Xylix realized that this discovery could transform Krellian-human relations from cautious coexistence to genuine cooperation and possibly even friendship. As Xylix prepared to make his findings public, he faced opposition from those within the Krellian Empire, who saw his revelations as a threat to their power and the status quo. Undeterred, Xylix meticulously documented his findings and prepared to present them to the High Council and the galaxy at large. He knew the risks, but also understood that the truth had the power to reshape the future. Standing before the High Council, Xylix presented his findings with a mix of passion and gravity. The Council's reactions ranged from surprise to skepticism and fear. The revelation sparked a galaxy-wide debate, leading to increased diplomatic missions, cultural exchanges, and collaborative scientific ventures. Want to lose an arm? Try shaking hands with a human. Commander Vra's voice boomed through the crowded hall of the Galactic Council, his 6 limbs animatedly punctuating his words. The representatives from various star systems, their bioluminescent skins flashing with different shades of agreement or dissent, listened intently. Why do we keep debating this? Vra continued, his voice rising with frustration. It's not just a matter of law. It's about survival. We must avoid humans at all costs. They're a scourge, a nightmare encased in flesh. Across the hall, Captain Gira of the Zixer Alliance rose to speak, his reptilian eyes narrowing with skepticism. Surely you exaggerate, Commander. Humans are just one species among many. Are they truly so formidable? Vra's response was swift and sharp. Formidable. They turned warfare into an art form of annihilation. Let me share an example from the Battle of Epsilon Prime. The hall fell silent as the lights dimmed. A holographic projection flickered to life in the center, showing a desolate, war-torn planet. The remains of what was once a thriving colony, the Epsilon Prime Offensive. Vra narrated, was a coordinated attack by a coalition of 3 species, the Krull, the Xenar, and the Morons. The plan was a simple, surprise attack to subdue a human outpost and seize strategic resources. It was supposed to be quick and decisive. The hologram zoomed in on a lone human soldier, clad in a heavily armored exosuit. His face was hidden behind a visor, but his calm movements were unmistakable. Despite being outnumbered and outgunned, the humans launched a counteroffensive that defied all expectations. They employed guerrilla tactics, psychological warfare, and weapons technology we had never seen before. This soldier, Lieutenant Marcus Drake, was pivotal in their defense. The Council watched in stunned silence as the hologram showed the human soldier navigating the battlefield with precision, laying traps, coordinating strikes, and exploiting every weakness of the attacking forces. The coalition forces were decimated, reduced to a fraction of their original numbers within days. They don't fight just to win. Vra continued, his voice heavy with conviction. They fight to dominate, to crush anyone who threatens them. Their resolve is unbreakable, their ingenuity unparalleled. Captain Jorth, visibly shaken, raised the question, but aren't they also capable of diplomacy and cooperation? Have there been no instances of peaceful interaction? Vra sighed, there have been such instances, but even then, humans approach diplomacy with the same cunning and strength they apply to warfare. They negotiate from a position of power, always ready to enforce their terms by any means necessary. That's why we have the non-approach law. We must preserve ourselves by avoiding them. Suddenly, a voice from the back of the hall broke the silence. With all due respect, Commander, I disagree. All eyes turned to the speaker, General Corps of the Nari Confederation. His broad-shouldered figure stepped forward, his expression unreadable. General Corps, Vra acknowledged, I trust you have a compelling reason for this dissent. Corps nodded, I do. While I don't dispute the dangers you've outlined, I believe there's another side to humanity we must consider. They are not just destroyers. They are creators, innovators, explorers. Their capacity for war is matched by their capacity for progress. To isolate Orcs completely is to ignore the potential benefits of understanding them. Murmurs rippled through the assembly as Core continued. Consider the Terran incident. A Nari vessel was stranded in a hostile quadrant, its life support failing. A human ship detected our distress signal and intervened, repairing our vessel, sharing resources, and ensuring our safe return. Captain Jonathan Hayes displayed a level of compassion and cooperation that contradicts the image of unrelenting warriors. Vra frowned, clearly unimpressed. One act of kindness doesn't erase their history of violence, General. We can't gamble our future on isolated incidents. Core's eyes hardened. I'm not suggesting we abandon caution, Commander, but we must also recognize that fear and prejudice can blind us to opportunities. Humans are complex. To reduce them to mere monsters is to misunderstand them entirely. We must approach them with respect, not just fear. The hall fell silent as the council members pondered Core's words. Vra's face showed a hint of frustration, but he remained composed. We will consider your perspective, General. However, the non-approach law remains in effect until we have more substantial evidence to support a policy change. With that, the council session adjourned, leaving representatives to mull over the intense debate. Whispers filled the air, some agreeing with Vra's caution, others intrigued by Core's bold stance. Back in his quarters, Commander Vra stared out at the stars, a sense of unease gnawing at him. He had seen the horrors humans were capable of but couldn't entirely dismiss Core's point. Perhaps a more nuanced understanding of humanity would emerge in time. But for now, the law was clear. Do not approach humans. Unbeknownst to the Galactic Council, on the other side of the galaxy, a small human fleet was setting out on a mission of exploration and diplomacy, hoping to bridge the vast distances and misunderstandings that separated them from their galactic neighbors. Tension remained palpable in the days following the debate. Determined to make a difference, General Core took a proactive approach. He assembled a team of trusted Nari allies, ready to reach out to the humans and learn more about them firsthand. You're risking everything, warned Lieutenant Vra, Core's second in command, as they prepared their vessel. Vra won't take kindly to this. Core nodded, acknowledging the danger. Progress often comes with risk, Lieutenant. We must be prepared to face it if we want to grow. Their journey took them through uncharted regions of space, avoiding known conflict zones, and navigating nebula that concealed their movements. The Nari ship, equipped with advanced stealth technology, moved like a shadow among the stars. Meanwhile, on the human flagship Endeavor, Captain Jonathan Hayes was deep in thought. The Galactic Council's recent declaration had reached him, and he knew that bridging the gap between humanity and other species would be challenging. Still, he believed in the potential for understanding and cooperation. Captain, we're receiving a signal, reported Enan Carter, breaking Hayes' reverie. It's from a Nari vessel, requesting permission to approach. Hayes' brow furrowed. A Nari vessel. That's unexpected. Open a channel. The view screen flickered to life, revealing General Core's stern visage. Captain Hayes, I am General Core of the Nari Confederation. I wish to speak with you in person, if you are willing. Hayes studied the Nari general, noting the determination in his eyes. General Core, I appreciate your willingness to reach out. We'll provide coordinates for you to dock. Let's see if we can find some common ground. As the Nari ship docked with the Endeavor, the atmosphere was tense, but not unfriendly. Core and his team were greeted by Captain Hayes and a select group of human officers. Welcome aboard the Endeavor, Hayes said, extending his hand in greeting. Core hesitated for a moment before shaking Hayes' hand firmly, a gesture of mutual respect. Thank you, Captain. I believe we have much to discuss. The two leaders, along with their teams, moved to the conference room. The discussions began cautiously, each side probing for commonalities while remaining wary of potential threats. Humanity's reputation precedes you, Core began. You're known for your prowess in battle and your unyielding spirit, but I've also seen acts of kindness and cooperation. We need to understand what drives you. Hayes nodded. Our history is filled with conflict, it's true. But we are also explorers, innovators, and allies. Our strength in war is matched by our desire for peace. We've learned that true strength lies in unity and cooperation. Core considered Hayes' words carefully. I've witnessed the devastation of your wars, but I've also seen your capacity for compassion. How do you reconcile these two facets of your nature? Hayes sighed, his gaze distant for a moment. It's not easy. We are driven by a survival instinct, a need to protect our own. But we also have an insatiable curiosity and a drive to understand the universe and our place in it. Sometimes, these drives conflict, but we strive to balance them. As the discussions continued, both sides began to share more openly. The humans explained their technological advancements, societal structures, and long-term goals. The Neri revealed their cultural values, commitment to harmony, and their own history of conflict and resolution. Hours turned into days, and a tentative understanding began to form. The initial wariness gave way to mutual respect as each side recognized the strengths and vulnerabilities of the other. In a quiet moment, Kor confided in Hayes. "There's a law in our council that forbids any approach to your kind. It's born of fear, a reaction to the horrors of war. But I believe we can change this. We can show that there is more to humanity than destruction." Hayes' expression softened. "I hope you're right, General. We have much to offer each other and much to learn, but it will take time and effort to overcome the barriers of fear and mistrust." As the discussions drew to a close, both leaders agreed to establish a joint task force, a team of humans and Nari dedicated to fostering cooperation and understanding.